Good morning or afternoon, depending upon what time zone you're in, or evening, depends. Hi, good. Whatever it is, I am the Pissed Off Parent. Welcome you to the second reimagined Pissed Off Parent show that I restarted after some time and all that fun stuff. Just wanted to go ahead and get right into it, talk about what we're going to be doing on the show today. Let's go into the overview of the show here, just to give everybody kind of a warm up of what we're going to be talking about here, hopefully, today. Also, be sure to comment, check out some surprises throughout the show. Pretty excited about some of the nerd stuff I've been doing. But just kind of getting right into it. Pissed Off Parent is a bold, no holds barred podcast dedicated to amplifying the voices of frustrated and alienated parents with a strong focus on fathers' rights. Yes, this is the Pissed Off Parent. I'm a dad. And it's going to be dedicated mostly to fathers. We're going to be talking about all the crap that we go through. All the parental alienation, the child support nonsense, all the other crap that we have to deal with primarily as fathers. And this is going to be a safe haven. This is going to be a place where people can talk about these issues and find out ways to move forward. I also got to talk about things that piss me off because it's my show, and a lot of things piss me off in this world. Hence the Pissed Off Parent. But with that. Getting into the I got to get into not the legal stuff, but the legal stuff. But talking more about, we're going to try to make this thing as open as possible, try to get feedback, try to talk about all the different things that are bugging you. It may be on these favorite topics. It may be something else. Who knows? But we'll figure it out. Try to keep it somewhat PG so I don't get kicked off of Facebook and YouTube. We actually are live streaming from both Facebook and a number of different platforms. So actually YouTube and Facebook. So we'll get people from there. I want to thank all the members of the other Equal Shared Parenting groups that took the link for this and posted on their own respective sites. Again, Pissed Off Parent is just kind of a small cog in a bigger wheel of trying to get equality for dads. So I wanted to actually give a shout out to all the groups that have done that for me. And if you haven't done that yet, get on the train here. I try to offer some expert insights. Again, I'm a 52-year-old guy. I've been through the grinder called family court over the last decade. I'm out now, and I'm doing what I would hope a lot of people would do is, even though you get out of the fight, you still stay in it because there's a part of you that wants to see change for the parents that I've talked with over the decades, and also selfishly for my own kids. They have witnessed it. They've got the scars from it, and I don't want that to impact them as they get older. We are fighting for equality, and that's pretty much, I think, all the folks that join here that are involved in the movement or dealing with this. They just want equality. That's all they're looking for, is to be treated like a respectful a human being. And as we know, the courts don't do that. I'm also, this is another avenue out there for support and solidarity. Again, you can tell I had ChatGPT write a lot of this stuff for me because I'm not smart enough to do it on my own. But this is an area where people can talk about, their successes, their failures, my successes, my failures, what's going on in the movement, all that stuff. And get information out there and share, because we all have a bond, people that we would have never met in an otherwise normal world, and this platform has brought us all together. We all share this trauma, and this is a place I would hope that people can come together and talk about those things. Talk about whatever phase you are, whatever area of the Equal Shared Parenting movement you are. This is hopefully a spot where everybody can kind of come together, join hands, kumbaya as it were, and try to get through this and survive and be better parents for our kids. Now I think here's kind of the legal-ish stuff. I want everyone to understand I'm not an attorney. Don't claim to be one. Don't want to be one. Just a guy that's been through this crap, and I got a thing or two to say about it. If you go to the website, you go to the app, you go any of the stuff that I have. Again, it's not going to be legal advice, and I almost want to say is most importantly. There's still a most importantly part. The advice is that I give out here is worth you paid for it. Nothing. One of the things about the Pissed Off Parent platform on the whole, joke there, is that everything I do is free of charge. Not to brag, but I've spent thousands of dollars, countless hours, you name it, doing all this stuff. And it's my way of giving back to the world and hoping that someone takes this information and does something positive with it. I do it all for free. And I don't look for any money or donations and all that stuff, and other groups do that, and that's great. Don't have a problem with it. But I just want everyone to know that as far as the Pissed Off Parent universe, it all is free, will be free, and always will be free. I never intend on charging anything for anything. I know it holds me back a little bit at times because there's a lot of good ideas out there, but it's just something that I pretty well don't like. I just don't like to mess with the money aspect of it, and keeping it free is something I can. Anyone ever tells me I'm in it for the money, I'm like, where? Doesn't happen. Actually, I spend a lot of money on my own. But anyway. Also, I'm not an attorney. More importantly, not your attorney. Information on the website, app, blah, blah. I kind of already said that. It's all kind of, it's informational purposes only. Again, a lot of free stuff out there. We'll talk about a little bit of that here on the show a little bit later. But, again, it's all out there. It's all free. Do your own research. Come to your own conclusions. All the typical stuff there. Hey, we got a thank you from John Hollandchick. Thank you, sir, for liking the stream. The name doesn't sound familiar, but again, I'm old. You may have been watching for a while, but again, thank you for liking the stream. Appreciate it. I want to jump right into it, though. Why the system is rigged against dads. And I got a little rant and reality here. So we all know, we all know that the system's rigged against dads. That's a thing. Oh, hey, Paul, what's up, man? Actually, I got a little something for you a little bit later in the show as well. So hopefully you stay tuned in here. But want to talk about, again, the way fathers generally are raked over the coals. This is, again, statistics from the Census Bureau. It's not my personal information. It's not, whatever. You can go out to the censusbureau.org and get this information. I'm just kind of collating it here and giving it out here just for awareness. And it'll be kind of the theme of a number of things that I do. But you see right there, in black and white, that out of the single parent universe, here, and I believe it's 26%. I think we're up to 26% in the United States alone is led by a single. The children are born to single parent families. And again, if you go to the website and app, you can fact check me on all this stuff. It's all out there. Hopefully, I remember all the percentages, the number. There's a lot of stuff up there in my head, but what they're reporting is that out of the 11 million single parent families out there, that 80% are led by mothers. It should be no surprise or no shock with what we've all seen, that women primarily get custody, and of course we'll kind of talk about why that happens and the purpose, the reasons behind it, and stuff like that. But I also wanted to put out a little bit more information here. Let me click over here. Again, I've got a lot of this stuff. Again, this is all on the site, but you can actually go to my website or the app. And if you're curious, I went ahead and this is from 2020. Again, they don't have the information, anything newer out, but again, 4 years, how much is going to change. But you can actually go out to the website or the app and find your state. And you'll get the numbers for what the breakdown is. Again, the national average is 80-20, but you can go to your state and figure it out. Like, just kind of picking on Texas, because I'm from Texas. Fathers have 14.5% custody, and mothers have 85.5%. That is, take that information and do what you will for it. But again, a lot of information out on the website, and can talk through that if anyone is ever doubting you, or you have questions, you just want to know just how bad it is. But let's kind of get into a little bit more information. I want to get into some personal stories here, and I'll keep it kind of general, but and I believe this was on the thumbnail. And again, there are millions of mostly fathers that have been just drugged through the family court gauntlet and meant to destroy them. And I kind of want to highlight each of these guys here that have been through stuff. And I either have it, the information firsthand or from court documents or whatever, so I can kind of give you a pretty good understanding of where these guys are. And they come from different walks of life. I believe primarily most of them are from Texas. We do have actually got Chucky D. He's actually out of, I want to say Virginia, Maryland or Virginia, can't remember. But anyway, we have him. But I kind of want to go like left to right here and then kind of come back because I do want to capitalize on one person's story a little bit because some recent events happened that people need to see. But, a guy that probably needs no introduction at all, Jeff Younger. Everybody, if you're not aware of the situation he's going through, I don't know what to tell you, but he is the guy out of Texas that his ex-wife, who is not the biological child, is trying to transition one of his sons from a boy to a girl. Is out in California. There's so much information out on him. It's unbelievable. He right now, I would say, is probably one of the largest advocates for the stuff that we deal with, and we should really be rallying behind him. But I just wanted to kind of point out some of these guys. I'm going to skip over one person because, surprise, he's going to be kind of the special unknown, he won't be on the show, but we're going to get to see some stuff that he's going through right now. But the next guy here, Chris Clay, he is actually out of Denton, Texas, and I did a story on him a couple of years ago, and what had happened is, him and his wife had like close to a 50-50 custody schedule and everything, but she unfortunately passed away in a car accident. Well, his case, and these were on temporary orders, went all the way to the Texas Supreme Court. And the video that I have out there is an older one, but it actually walks you through about a 45-minute diatribe of how this whole process works. But when his ex-partner passed away, the state tried to give the 6-month-old boyfriend custody rights, medical, time, all that fun stuff, and his case had to go all the way to the Supreme Court. That means he went through the local family court, went to the appeals court. Went through the entire process and got all the way up to the state Supreme Court to basically give him. And these were temporary orders. I think at the time he had spent something like $175,000. That's in the court transcript, which is actually also on the video. Trying to fight to this 6-month-old. It was the boyfriend of his ex-partner, and again 6 months. That's how long the relationship was, and they were trying to give this boyfriend somewhat equal parenting. They it wasn't a 50-50, but they were trying to give him rights, and it just goes to show just how bad the Texas family court system is. And again, this is not an isolated incident. This is happening all over the country, all over the world. Another gentleman that does not need any introductions, Dr. Brooks McKenzie. It's not an arm reach, but I have, some of his publications and stuff. Has done a lot. Another gentleman that has been put through the ringer in the court system. He's been sent to jail on some BS nonsense, all kinds of stuff out of good old Tarrant County here. But he, of course, fighting. Another guy, Robert Garza. This guy also needs zero introduction. He is, again, we need to applaud him. And again, all these guys are on social media. I would recommend going out, liking their stuff, following them and stuff like that, because they're movers and shakers. And there's so many more, but this is all I can fit on this screen. But Garza, he was a guy, he's been through, I think it's 45 false allegations through the family courts, also here in Texas. And he's overcome every single one of them. He is actually the guy on the time taken back bill. Everyone knows about that one, or hopefully should know. If not, check that out. I have videos on it. You can go to his site, and he's talking about it fairly often. He's also trying to get it passed nationally as well. So if you're from a state that has this issue, and let me explain the issue that he was having, is that when he would go to pick his children up, the mother would come up with either a CPS charge or withholding, whatever that is, and he was being denied at time. So he would show up for Christmas, let's say, and something would happen. Well, he wouldn't get that time back. They'd always get overturned on appeal, and we all know, the whole silver bullet and all that fun stuff. But he went ahead and said, you know what, not taking this crap. And he worked with Angela Paxton and David Cook and a bunch of others at the legislature and got a time taking back bill, which means, say, if the other parent does something during Christmas, you will get the next Christmas back in addition to your current time, because usually the custody orders switch times. But he was instrumental. He was the primary driver behind getting that done, and I mean, we need to be thanking him every day. I mean, millions of parents and kids across Texas, are waking up to a new possibility, and that's just one guy, that just said I had enough, and you'll see a theme on that mentality as we continue on. Another guy, again, none of these guys need introductions, or I hope not. You got George Ladonna. This guy, again, southern Texas to me. I'm up in northern Texas. He has been fighting for years to get time with his child, and the courts have really gone out of their way to ensure that he doesn't. I mean, from what court documents I've read and the information that's publicly available, which gets into a whole other issue. It doesn't make any sense why the family courts are keeping a loving father from his son. It doesn't make any sense, but he's been going, this battle has been at least 4 to 5 years. I may get the dates wrong there, but he's been dealing with this. He hasn't seen his son in 4 to 5 years, and he just keeps fighting and fighting and fighting. Another guy, Jeff Morgan. Check out his YouTube channel. He's got millions. What's funny is this guy's older than me, and he has got the fire. Hey, Jimmy Smith. Jimmy! Also, thank you, Jimmy, for liking the stream. Jimmy and I co-host a Sunday show called The Big Show. And when you watch a couple episodes, you'll see it. So I encourage everyone on the Dad Talk Today network to go check that out. But again, thank you, Jimmy, for liking the stream. But I want to get back to Jeff Morgan. This guy has been, he represents, and I kind of try to put different people on here that that I know and all that stuff. His is mostly for grandparents' rights. In Texas there aren't any, and in a lot of states there aren't any grandparents' rights. That they don't even get to see their grandkids. I mean, which is insane. But here we are in 2024. But he took it one-man mission. He travels all over the place. Fighting for not only his issue, which is the grandparents' rights, and of course, no-fault divorce. You can't mention Jeff Morgan without talking about no-fault divorce. I love you, Jeff. But he has been a fighter, and what's funny, he's older than me. I mean, I'm 52. He's my senior, and he is out there, in these people's faces, getting stuff done, and kind of want to give a hats off to him. But he's a guy that. They took his grandkids away, and he's been fighting ever since to get time back with his children. And I believe recently, within the last year, I believe those doors have been opening. So again, big shout out to Morgan, the Godfather, we like to call him, for getting that done. Kind of flipping gears here. Down to Glenn Terry, another guy out of Texas. Eric Carroll on Dad Talk Today did a video on his. I probably should have included links, but how much time and preparing can I do? But Glenn Terry's is actually a horrible story. His son, his ex-wife or ex-partner, I'll say ex-partner, I can't remember if it was his wife, actually ended up murdering their I think just 1-year-old child a number of years ago. And he had. If you watch his story again, I would encourage everyone to go to. I can't tell his story any close to the way Eric Carroll took his story and presented it out there. I mean, Eric did a great job walking through what happened to Glenn, and Glenn just wanted to be a dad. He fought the courts. I mean. Trying to get them to see light, see reason, and unfortunately they refused. And worse yet, it did cost his son his life. But again, I encourage everyone to watch the Dad Talk Today YouTube. If you go out there, you can find that video, and it really gives a good summary of what happened. Another guy, Rustin Wright. He's the head of the Americans for Parental Equality here in Texas, and has done a number of things fighting for equality for mostly dads. I mean, again, but we all have that. We don't care who it is, but again, this impacts mostly fathers. His son, he went through hell and back. dealing with his son is so much, they took the child away from him. They wouldn't allow the child to be with him and sent him off to like military school. He wasn't allowed to see him until his 18th birthday. They've now since reunited and trying to pick up the pieces. And from everything we see from talking to Rustin and from what we see on social media, they're rebuilding that relationship. But he had so many years stolen from him, both the father and the son, due to our family court system. Next, Chuck D. Chuck Dizzle. This guy has been also put through the ringer. He has not seen his children in 5 or 7 years. I believe it's 5 years, if I remember the dates correctly. And he had got divorced. I think he's got 7 kids. I'm gonna mess up all this information. I actually did a interview with him about a year or two ago on the Pissed Off Parent channel, where we kind of walked through his story. And he's one of those guys that has brought the receipts. He has like crazy level of documentation on what happened, why, and all that stuff. And there's so much to his story, can't even begin to talk to it. Still has not seen his kids. They have a court date coming up here. I believe it's in April. It's been postponed because there's so much goofiness going on, not on his part, but on the court system's part. But he's had a postponed court hearing for I think like a year or two. And he's still doing it. Now, what this guy did, now he got kicked hard in the nuts. There's no other way to put that. I mean, he got a steel boot to the nuts.
John says,
and
from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hey, John. Thank you for tuning in. Good to see Las Vegas, Nevada represented. Yeah. But getting back to Chuck, what he did is he, after getting hit with that steel-toed boot in the nuts, he dusted himself off and he created a community food pantry, essentially, where he gives out for free food to his community. I believe he's up in Virginia, and I should know the state and the cities he's in because I do a lot of his website stuff for him. But I'm old, I don't remember this crap. But anyway, he really turned that pain into purpose and went out there, and he is doing crazy stuff. If you go to, and I would encourage everyone to go out to familyforeternity.org or com and check out what he's been doing. And this is a guy that has been put through the ringer, and rather than let it knock his ass down, he said, hey, I'm going to keep giving back and keep pushing. And, not enough nice things to say about Chuck. Great guy, going through some hell like we all are. But he has really turned that pain into purpose and, trying to do something with that. And one day, I hope one day soon he will see his kids and he can, reconnect and rebuild that relationship. Because as we all know, fathers are very important to our children. Moving back to another guy, Joe Lowry. I'm going to play a video here in a bit, and this was, he did a live yesterday, but Joe, also out of Texas, and I can't remember if I can call him Joe or Joseph. I'll just go Joseph. You know what, I'm going to go Joe because Joseph just sounds so formal. But this is another guy that's turned pain into purpose, but he's also still getting put through the ringer. He went through a divorce. He's got, I believe, 2 sons. And his ex-partner is doing the custodial interference. In Texas, we have it's a state penal code, 2503, and you can find all the information you want on the website or the app on that for your state or Texas. But he's been dealing with this. And anyway, the fraud got so bad and the corruption got so bad, this guy said, screw it, and went ahead and went into office and actually won this last election. So he's, I just had a brain fart and can't remember. I think it's mayor, I can't remember. I don't want to misstate what it is, but he became a public official, and now his single goal is to take down the corrupt organizations out there that are, in his area, that other guys turn pain into purpose. A lot of these guys, they all have that common thread. They've turned their pain into purpose. They've said, I'm done with this crap. I'm not going to, I'm going to get kicked in the nuts. I'm going to dust myself off, and I'm going to keep fighting. I don't care what happens. But talking about Joe, he has been through a lot. So I'm going to play this video, and you can I won't play the entire 9 minutes. I would encourage you to go to Joe Lowry's his Facebook page, and you can see the video there. I should have probably included a link. But
John says, I am with and love watchdogs.
All right, go John. And if everyone's wondering why I'm looking up, I've got 4 monitors. I should probably do a behind the scenes, but I've got 4 monitors, and one of them is above me. So I have my text to speech chat that displays up there that I can see it and read it. Of course, I can hear it, so I should be able to work with that. But play the video here, and I did kind of like some bullet points of what he's going through and what he's gone through. But he's yesterday, I don't want to say last Friday, yesterday. He went to pick his children up on his appointed time, and they have done the custodial interference, which is 2503. And actually, there's been more updates, but I'd encourage you to go to Joe Lowry's Facebook page and check that out. But let me go ahead and play that here. Hopefully.
Going on 6 years of dealing with the family courts. And what's frustrating is the DA, the weak DA that we have, will not file interference with child custody orders, which is a felony 2503 in the state of Texas. It's illegal to interfere with child custody in the state of Texas. For 6 years, and probably, without exaggerating, 30 to 50 complaints to get my children. The weak district attorney's office has not filed one time on my ex.
All right, and again, it's a 9-minute video. There's more to that, and again, I would encourage everyone to go to the Joseph Lowry to his personal Facebook page, and I believe all of his stuff is out there. You don't have to friend him, but I encourage you. More friends the better. We're all friends, and just kind of follow what he's been dealing with. It's going to tell you what we're dealing with, and it's also going to hopefully give you some hope for the future that you're not alone, and if we continue fighting and doing the right thing, eventually all this crap will change. I wanted to transition here, and we'll have some more surprises, but I want to transition into the part about why the custody is the way it is. Everyone should know, and again, if you don't know about if Title 4D, if the Office of the Attorney General, I can't remember what other states call it, if a lot of these terms are unfamiliar, I would encourage you. There's a lot of free sources out there. I'm just going to talk about mine just because I know it's there. But if you go to the Pissed Off Parent app, on Apple or Google Play stores, or the website pissedoffparent.com, all of that information from the government data. It's not my data. It's government data. Their reports, their information, the laws, and all information. And you can become familiar. Unfortunately, become familiar with these terms and understand what's going on and why. Because a lot of these dads, when they go through this crap, they walk into court, and the judge, their own attorney, the opposing counsel, which you'd expect, but they all basically treat you like a third-class citizen, and you walk out of there going, "What? I'm a great dad. Up until now, I was allowed to have overnights. I was allowed to do all these decisions, and for some strange reason, I'm lower than scum, and." Getting into it, there's just no other way to put it. It's all about the control, and mostly it's about the money. And I have a video on this. I just took a screenshot, and it's kind of on a high level walk you through how this process works, and also clear a little bit of confusion, hopefully, because I know there's some misinformation out there, and again, well-intentioned by a lot of people. But the way this works is, and of course I had to throw my own brand of humor in it, is when the OAG or your state's collection group extorts their money out of you. What happens is they get reimbursement. Everyone's heard, I think, the 66 cents on the dollar. Again, on the website, you can read into that. They read that information. They get a reimbursement from the federal government for their collection effort. So it's not when you pay $1, they get 66 cents. It's the amount of time. So they spent, let's say, $1. To collect from you, enforcement, and there's other pieces in there. So it's not an easy thing. I probably just need to do like a chart that really breaks it all down to really explain it. But if they spend $1 to enforce collections, they send you a letter, they do a wage garnishment, whatever that is, they get to recoup a percentage of that. And then there's other pieces in there as well. There's performance and all that. But again, this will turn into a 20-hour snooze fest if it isn't already, and you'll be going, what the hell's going on? But once that happens, and again, at the end of the day, a lot of people will like to say, "Well, this is from a whole different area. This is, the Social Security Administration. It's not really Social Security. It's this, is that." At the end of the day, this is all your taxes. This is all your money that you're paying. The government doesn't well, I guess they do print money now. I don't know, but they have the money that they collect from you. That's how they get their money, and that money then goes back to the state. That's how they the reimbursements and all the other little programs and all that fun stuff. That's how that's done. Well, you think about it, and actually, Jeff Morgan actually has a great video. I want to give him credit, where he captured our state attorney general, who I've met. I got pictures to prove it. Where he was talking about, they have 2,400 Office of the Attorney General agents, and I think it's like 60, 80%, I can't remember the numbers, are dedicated to child support enforcement. Well, they're paying all those people, and if they're not getting that reimbursement back from the feds and everything, how are they going to pay it? They won't be able to, so they have to make sure that those amounts are high. Well, who generally makes more money? The man. I mean, it's an easy formula, and again, I got a cartoon that breaks it down for everybody. But it's one of those, if you don't believe me or you question it, whatever. This next resource, also available on the website, is a study that was done where they looked at how much, and again, if you're like, oh, this doesn't impact me, this doesn't, whatever. I want everyone to kind of think about this a little bit globally to the United States. But this group here did a study a couple years ago, and what they determined, this is a lower bound figure, in their own words. I'm sorry, we came up with the exact same word, must have been because I read it. But every year, 112 billion with a B is spent on this, over $1 trillion each decade. And if you go to the website or the app, it is front and center. You can click on that link to go right to that whole thing and read all 100 pages or whatever, and you'll walk away
John
probably
says,
pissed off.
"Wish we had more people willing to stand up and speak like you here in Vegas."
Well, tell you what, John. I think we do have some groups. I would check the website or the app. Again, it's 50 states, and I'm only one guy, but they may have a group that's local in your area. And if not, actually on the website itself, I have a process to go through to make changes in your area. And again, if you can't find one, I would recommend starting one. That's kind of a later on in the podcast. That is kind of one of the things I'll end up talking about. But getting kind of back to the cost here, we're talking about $112 billion that is going out. That we're as a country that we're losing every year, and again, that's a lower number. And they kind of talk through some of the other numbers. I just did a screenshot of just kind of the summary piece of it. And what I would want everyone to do really is to read that, get educated. So when you're talking with people, you can start giving these numbers, giving this information. But this is, again, what they looked at was, how much this really impacts. And do you think, well, if we could get the government to do the right thing, but what could we do with $112 billion every year if we weren't wasting it on all the damage caused by all the primary and secondary, tertiary impacts of the way our system is set up? Again, we've got increased rates of depression and suicide, the self-deletion. I got to watch my language or I'll get cut. All those different things. It's not just about the money. There's all these secondary effects which you can go into, but again, we'd be here for years. And speaking about, moving on here, let me go ahead and move on. I went ahead and captured a screenshot from, I believe, this was from the Census Bureau, but this breaks down, and again, links are available on the website that will take you to their website for this information. But this is the breakdown of the amount of money that is going to single-family households that are receiving child support. This is just how big of an issue it is. Just kind of wanted to point that out. I also wanted to, kind of go back into some quick stories, mention a few other people on here. And again, if I'm going too fast, or you're like, hey, I got a question or whatever, I would highly encourage you to go to the Piss Off Parent app website and check that out. A lot of the information is all there. But going back to, hey, Zach. Thank you for liking the stream. Appreciate it. I want to talk a bit more about the financial struggles here. Kind of segmenting or transitioning over into kind of the real cost child support and us as dads, the trouble, the issues that we have. A lot of people, and again, the screen's only so big. I snapped a couple that have particular stories that I wanted to highlight, but there's millions more. I mean, all you guys out there, all you guys and gals out there have done. You've all either slept in your car, been removed from
Zach says,
everything you own.
Love it, man.
Oh, thanks, Zach. But wanted to kind of highlight each of these guys' stories, and I'm assuming a lot of people are going to be able to empathize with this or find some common ground with these. And again, I'd recommend everyone go out there, find these guys out, and partner up with them, learn from them, and all that. But these are guys that have overcome a lot of the things that have happened to them. But when you're kicked out of your own house, you're paying crazy child support, which we'll talk about the real cost of child support here in a bit. These guys have been put through different things. We all know Mark Ludwig, his story. Again, he's the leader of Americans for Parental Equality. Yeah, Americans for Parental Equality. Sorry, so many things going through my head, can't remember it all. But his story, summarizing it, is he got a woman pregnant, had the kid. They spent I can't remember how many. I think it was a year not being able to see his child. And they had to get paternity tests, go through all that stuff, and then there's still kind of stuff back and forth. He's actually doing a lot of stuff in the legislative arena and all that. But this guy has told stories about his power being turned off, can't pay the rent, all that type of stuff that I think we can all empathize with. But he's coming back. He's come back from it. He has a good relationship with his child. He's moving forward. He's actually taken that pain and turned it into purpose, and create a platform and trying to make changes at the legislative level. Another guy needs no introduction. Ryan Powell. Ryan, one of the guys, I think created. I'm trying to remember how it all broke out, but he created an avenue for unmarried fathers called Tough, the unmarried father. And actually, he's recently, just for everyone that doesn't know, he due to some, I guess, issues with Facebook, he's actually created another unmarried father group or whatever, and trying to get people on there. And he hit the space he really looks at is the folks that aren't married. They're dealing with that. And I thought I was married. When I got divorced, I was married. Obviously, divorced, married. Kids, the whole 9 yards, and I went through my version of hell as everyone else has. But I didn't really think about the poor schmucks, the unmarried fathers that I thought I had no rights as a married father. People like Ryan and others that didn't marry the baby mama, they essentially, it's an even harder fight for them. They got through, and Ryan said, I'm going to create a space for it. He lets us married folks in there as well. But that talks specifically, primarily to the unmarried fathers that are going through this, and he has shared his trials and tribulations and all that. But he's been through a lot, trying to be in his daughter's life, because he knows the statistics, he knows the data, and he's a good dad. He wants to be a father. That's what I think anyone that would join in here or be part of this or be sympathetic, we want to be good fathers, which is why we fight so hard. Another guy, Arnold Yan, he's actually out here in Texas. He's been put through quite a bit. Know parts of his story. I recommend going to his page. He's actually taking his pain into turning it into purpose and going after his the family courts in general, and well, specifically for his case, but doing a lot there. Josh Jaros, another guy out of Texas. Again, a lot of these guys primarily out of Texas. Got a couple that aren't, but Josh Jaros, years ago, he was actually instrumental in getting the lunchtime bill. I think it was called the lunchtime bill back, I think 3 or 4 sessions ago. He went to go see his son at his school, and he was turned away. The school actually turned him away and said, no, it's not your time, or made some whatever excuse up. And he's like, screw this. So he got the legislature to pass a law called the lunchtime bill or lunch bill or something. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But again, he got the laws changed to where now when a parent goes to school to spend time with their kid, at lunchtime. No, go figure. They can do that. There's no, they can't be prevented from doing that. Now, he's also had some other issues. He did go to jail for child support. He did actually get a better situation with his ex-partner. I believe she forgave the amounts, and because she finally saw that that's the kid's dad, and I'm doing this stuff for whatever reason. And said, you know what, it doesn't make sense, and now everything's good as far as I know with them. So kind of a successor there. But he's he had been through a lot of stuff, and a lot of financial struggles. Paul, another good guy. Actually, I interviewed him a couple of years ago, also here in Texas, and he, he's an unmarried father. He's actually I think part of the unmarried father group, and doing stuff there for them. But he. Has had a number of financial struggles that he's had to deal with while, trying to be in his kid's life and all that. Finally, getting to Mike Whitney. Everyone, again, should know who Mike Whitney is. Done a lot of good work out there. We kind of a joke that we do is he literally lives in a van. He was a good dad in their lives and everything, but when the family broke up, unfortunately, the court system essentially removed his kids, the parental alienation, all the things that we're familiar with. They went ahead and just removed him. He unfortunately doesn't really have a relationship with his children at this point, which is extremely sad. And I hope that one day he can reconcile. But Mike has done a lot of good stuff, and he's another guy who's turned his pain into purpose. He's always there. He does actually a lot of veteran stuff. If you go to the website, I have a spot for veteran hotline. Of course, you can Google veteran hotline and get information there. But he is always there on the self-deletion arena to lend a listening ear. Again, a lot of tireless hours spent doing that. And again, I highly encourage everyone to check these guys out. And there are countless others. But
John says,
it's only so big.
Our case is closed but not sealed. We have our children back only after 1 year. All of our civil rights were violated. We finished court without any attorneys. Our children were immediately reinstated to us. But that's after giving our 12-year-old daughter a kid with abortion pill based on the people that were doing it to her. John says, the reason why I speak about this is we need to gather together underneath one name while still supporting our own causes.
Yeah, actually, John, you nailed it. That is, there's been talk about unity, and you know what? We'll talk about that towards the end. I do have a section for that that talks about that. So yeah, keep me honest here and bring it up if I start to slide off into a different area. I did kind of want to transition over into the real cost of child support. And this is actually a graph from Custody Exchange. I will preface this by saying there's another document from Custody Exchange that they were talking about grade levels or whatever of custody agreements and everything. And every time Custody Exchange gets brought up, I kind of curl my nose a little bit because that other report, in looking into the data, not looking at the main document, but looking at how they derived that data. They basically interviewed like 100 attorneys and got their opinion, and well, we all know how that goes. So as far as the Custody Exchange custody piece of it, if you go to their website and check it out, I personally would ignore that. I wouldn't say that's relevant or good data to work with to support anything. But in investigating this, how the average child support award for each state, it has a lot more data involved. They're actually able to pull from the state rolls and all that and get that rough number. They did a good job of if you have 1 kid, 2 kid, 3 kid, and all that stuff, and breaking it out. But this right here, just to give you an idea, is how what the average amount for each state is awarded. And actually, we'll talk a little bit more about why it's the way it is.
Taran says,
we'll jump into that.
Oh hey, I know some of them guys.
Oh, hey, Taryn, how's it going, man? Rock on. Glad to have you aboard. All right, let's jump into, and again, a lot of my stuff is going to be Texas-centric because, well, one, I'm in Texas. Two, well, I know a lot about Texas. And there's 49 other states that, I have varying amounts of knowledge on. This is kind of easy pull. Texas, and we'll show you some numbers here, but Texas...
Cody says, love the information.
Oh, hey, thanks, Cody. just doing what I can. But Texas, hands down, is the master of child support collection and a lot of this. Which is why getting an equal share parenting bill is going to be rather difficult in this state, and we'll kind of talk about why. But so we can they got the
Cody
process
says,
worked out.
looking to run more bills to hold professionals accountable.
Oh yeah. Actually, Texas for Judicial Accountability is another place to talk through that, and then passing bills, and that's gets into that call of action, which we'll probably have towards the end of the show, is how different people can get involved and what you can do no matter where you're at in your journey. Definitely hang on and watch for that, and we'll have some good back and forth on it. Wanted to talk about the cost of child support, and this is always something I always found funny and this talks about Texas. Every state has their own formula. There's a income sharing. There's a few different formulas, but Texas does the 20%, which we all know. If you're in Texas, and most other states that do it this way, you'll know that the 20% is a bunch of nonsense. It's 20% plus your medical and dental and all the other fun stuffs, and then it's always net and all that, and it's actually like closer to 40 some odd percent or more, depending on how medical and all that stuff goes. But just kind of wanted to do a quick throw it out there. This is kind of the breakdown. They cap you at $9,200. So if you're making an income at that amount, again, this is from the NACL, whatever, law firm, PC. That's just their graphic. Is available on the OAG side. I just kind of like the way this was pretty and broke it out there. But this just gives you, anyone out there, just kind of a window on how it's determined. So if you're either if you got that phone call from the baby mama going, I'm putting your ass on child support, I would highly recommend getting a hold of your state's child support laws, figure out what that number is going to be, and kind of work with that. Why we are in this situation, or why it got here, and it may be hard to see, but this is actually up until 2020, and I probably should have downloaded the more recent graphic, although the numbers are going to change. Let me see if I can explode this screen up. Let me go back. I'm letting more people. There we go. Yeah, I can't increase the screens. Maybe I can. Well, you know what? It's again freely available on the website, so go check that out. I keep pushing the website. But this is the incentive award. So when we were talking about Title 4D and the funding and how they get their money and all that, there's I believe it's 5 different factors that each state has to deal with when they're, as far as efforts to collect child support, determine paternity. There's a number of things there, again, on the website you can read through. But if a state does a good job, they get a pool of money. As of 2020, it's $600 million as a bonus check. And then you can look and find your state, and then from there determine how much you got. So, like, for example, let's pick on Texas. Texas, as an incentive, they received $89 million as a bonus check. Talk about that in a little bit as well. Again, so hoping to tie all this together for you is with all the incentives that states receive for doing this, and when they see equal shared parenting, if you look at Kentucky and Missouri and Florida, Kentucky being the first state, and they actually did a news article on it that they were seeing a huge reduction in those federal funds coming in, and they're scared. That article came out, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. But the state doesn't have a huge incentive, because as long as this machine's rolling and we're paying the money, they're raking in the dollars. And talking to how child support works in the breakout, because again, fathers do receive custody, and officially 20% of the cases. I myself have one that by default ended up getting eventually over time full custody of my child. Ex-wife is 2 years behind on child support. Whole different story, not even worth mentioning. But I want to kind of give you a graph here from the Census Bureau on how that breakout works. And this actually gets into a myth buster I wanted to talk to a little bit, and I'm hoping this works. But I want to do a poll, and before we jump in here. So a lot of times the deadbeat dad, I mean, we've all heard it a million times. The deadbeat dads are deadbeat, all that sort of nonsense. I went ahead and did the research, and I asked the question, like, which, and I had to say which sex, does not pay child support more often. So not and it's not across the board. It is they're actually doing the math to do the percentage of. So 20% of dads have primary custody and receive child support, and they said per capita per percentage how many times are they not being paid child support on time, and then the women's 80%, and how what's the percentage there, so we can get like numbers. And I wanted to shoot a poll out there. And you can do this definitely on Facebook. I think on YouTube it works. But if you want to vote and be part of this? And I'm when I go to the next screen, I'm gonna have to mute because I think it's going to do the TTS thing. But if you type in M for men or W for women, we can do a poll real quick, and we can see. Oh, we already got some voters here. So far 3. We'll give it a few seconds. But I wanted to kind of ask the crowd here, how many people which sex does not pay child support more often? So is it men that are paying? Is it not women that aren't paying? Oh, hey, Phil Thacker, thank you very much for following. Appreciate it. But wanted to see, and again, just go on your Facebook. You don't have to go to a special app. This is I'm kind of bragging a little bit from some of the tech work that I've done here, but you can actually go into the Facebook app and type in M or F. I'm typing MF. I don't have an option for that, and it means something else. Or on YouTube, you can type in either. I think it's case specific as a lower M or a lower F. So hopefully it doesn't do the whatever. But I wanted to see what we're thinking here. How many people? Looks like we only got. Well, actually, it looks like we only have one. Yeah, one vote. Well, no, I'm sorry. It's the number of votes. So far, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember how I coded this. I don't know if I did a percentage or a number or whatever, but it takes a cumulative overall number. So everyone that's voted feels that it's men, 100%, do not pay child support often. Well, let me tell you something. Let me just go to this next graph. So this is census data. This is not me. Send all your hate mail to them, not me. When you look at who
Steve
does not
says,
receive parent
F.
Oh, we got some. Oh, there we go. We had to change it up there. Let me switch back to my one screen. Wanted to share that again from the Census Bureau. When you look at who pays or who does not pay child support more often, it's actually women that don't pay more often than men. So I like to say myth busted. It's actually women that when they are ordered to pay child support, they don't pay on time. So next time someone tells you deadbeat dad or whatever, you can say, look, I'm going to be nice with you and say deadbeat parent just to kind of keep it whatever, or getting right down to it, deadbeat mom. Okay, let's move on. Let's get a little bit more of the meat here, a little more of the whatever. The fight for 50-50, which everyone wants. We want equality. Why aren't we there yet? And then what the hell is the holdup? And this is something that I want people to really understand. I call him, and I stole the anti-family part from Jeff Morgan. I mean, someone else may have created it or may have heard it elsewhere, but I give credit to Jeff Morgan on this because he's the one he talks about the anti-family court. But the anti-family court system, $60 billion. That's how much money the cottage industry, all the different pieces, they don't want to see change, and it's a huge thing. We've got lawyers. I mean, in our judiciary, we've got the Family Law Foundation. We've got all these groups that have so much money in this. They're not going to give it up. They're not going to say, oh, it makes sense. This is what's good. Oh, you've shown me 50 years worth of data, also available on the website, showing that having equal shared parenting is the best thing for children. Oh yeah, that sounds great. I'm going to pat your back, smack you on the butt, and send you on your way. But I'm not giving up that $60 billion. It's not happening. Another thing, what people understand is this whole process. And again, if you go to the website, I have one of my first videos, a cartoon that walks you through the basically 100-year process of how we got here and why it was, I would say, a plan. It almost seems like there was a design to the whole thing to get where we're at today. And you can see, big changes here. And again, the website has all of that information. But this isn't, they woke up one day and decided to do this. So we can't have it to where, we wake up one day and go, you know what, we need to fix things up, and, why won't they make change? why are they treating us like second-class citizens? Why are they? I mean, this is all about control, which is again Matrix theme. But they've had like 100 years to put this together. We're not going to fix it overnight. We've got to get the numbers, the people, the process, and get all those things in line and keep pushing, like what successfully happened in a few other states with getting equal shared parenting passed. And there's, again, a lot of information there on how they got there. But again, this isn't just going to be an overnight thing. And again, I'm going to have to call it out. I've been doing this for over a decade. I've seen a lot of stuff. The equal shared parenting community won't get engaged. And again, I'm going to say thank you for everyone joining today. But this issue impacts, I would say, virtually every person on the planet in some way, either directly or indirectly, either financially, emotionally, their family members and all that stuff. But we have so many people that just won't get engaged in the process. Now, I get why. Y'all have been through a trauma. I've been through, we've all been through the trauma of all of this. And it's something we don't want to talk about. I mean, we all know what happened with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. I mean, after that was over, he's out. He didn't even want to talk about it anymore. And it sucks because he would have a great platform. A lot of you guys have just, again, you've had steel-toed boots knocked in your nuts. And after all that, the judge rips this and does this and pushes under a gag order and does this and does that. You're like, I can't think about it. And I get the same way. I mean, there's so much coming at me, and I'm out of it.
To the advocates struggling to organize and effectively advocate to legislators and the donors of those legislators.
Yeah, and well, organization's another thing. I mean, Eric Carroll talked about something at down here when he came to Texas about a year or two ago. He talked about it wasn't the issue he was there primarily for. It was for another issue. And he saw how organized the opposition was on that particular issue, and you got a bunch of dads sitting around that you do this. They're using CBs and call signs and flags and all this other stuff. I mean, it's a lot there. But kind of back to the
John says,
gauge. Oh,
yep, getting engaged.
Yep, getting engaged. This one may sting a little bit, but one thing about the pissed off parent, I'm not going to sugarcoat a lot of this stuff. We got prima donnas that want to make it all about them. There's, won't name organizations, not here for like
John says, rallies.
We can talk about rallies, but we have people that are in the overall movement that if the idea isn't theirs, they don't want a part of it, or unless they're controlling it or is under their banner, they don't want to be a piece of it. I'd love to talk about, and I take it back. I wouldn't love to. I tried to talk about that. I've done in years past. I tried to organize a number of groups under a common banner, not led by anybody, but we're all in agreement. Kind of a decentralized government, going back to your high school government days. Where we all have our different pieces that we pull in. But no one's leading, but we're all in agreement on the important stuff, and then we attack and deal with it, and, in our different ways that are going to be productive. Unfortunately, we've had situations where leaders of organizations have said it's either about me or I won't be involved or I won't do anything. And it's really a call out to those people to either to rethink that whole mindset or do something else. That's just something that I don't think I'm a leader. I'm wanting to hold arms with everybody, every other organization that has the baseline down and move the thing forward. That's one of the reasons why, if you go to my website, I have and I need to add more, but I have a number of organizations that are out there. Not a complete list, obviously, but have a list out there, and there are actually organizations that hate my guts that are on there. I don't care. They're pushing the needle forward. They're doing it in their own way, and I don't care. I'm not here about getting clout or getting credit or whatever. I just want to see this thing finished. But when you get people that are, leaders that that they have to lead. I talked a little bit about that, and I got ahead of myself. Another one here, and this may hurt a couple people. My case is the most important. If we don't talk about my case, I won't get involved. Again, I've been doing this for over a decade. This isn't I woke up one morning and decided this. These are and I want people to think about this. When you're dealing with moving, the needle forward in whatever area, you don't need to talk about your case. And chances are your case isn't the worst. I get you've got your trauma. I get you've dealt with some stuff. But we don't need to make it about your case. We need to rally around the ones that are going to, get noticed. Jeff Younger is being an example. I've talked about this before on the Dad Talk Today network. That Jeff Younger's, like it or not, is in the national spotlight. That's a person that we need to get behind and do that. And you're going to feel the positive repercussions of that down the road. But if you take that time out and make it about your story or whatever, that's it's not overall project good thinking, to be perfectly blunt about it. And what I would ask is that people go, you know what, I need to push my personal situation back. There's other organizations, groups, there's a way to get that information out, but every post, every whatever does not need to be about
John says,
case.
For me and what God has given me, it is only about all of our children and the state of CPS reform.
Oh, yes. Actually, I have quite a bit on the website about CPS reform and all that. And just for those that don't know, you got Title 4D, which you've all heard about. One section down is Title 4E. And there's a lot of information on Title 4E. I would highly recommend people read up on that. You can see there's some connections between the two. And gonna let you do your research. Maybe we'll do a show about that. Who knows? But yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah. This is another one. I mean, I'm a data guy. I get it, and I know that's not everyone's forte. But I really, I think I bottom shelf a lot of stuff on the app and the website. But we got a lot of people that the failure to research and learn. They basically are not going to put the time in, and they want to get spoon fed the information. Not to brag, talk about whatever, but I get calls, emails, IMs, whatever, all the time, like I'm sure the leaders and groups get all the time, and they want to do this long, this is all what happened, and it's trauma, and I totally get it. It's trauma. And then I say, have you done this? If a person says, I haven't seen, I'm trying to keep it general here, but I haven't seen my kids in a year or two, and blah, 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 and I've done everything. Well, I've done on my website. Oh, yeah, blah. Okay, and let's just say they're in Texas. Have you gone through the steps that I have listed out there on how to at least cover your butt on custodial interference to then push the issue to see your kids? Well, show me how to do it. And I'm like, the site has hot links, that you can fill out your own. They want to be handheld and spoon fed. Unfortunately, we've got this issue affects millions of people. I'm one guy, and there's just not enough time. We need people to do the research for their own case, because that's they need to be the leader for their own case and go through that whole process. Again, my website, and there's others, but my website has tons of free information, links, data sets, all kinds of information that you can use to get good information, and also getting the accurate information and being able to then tell others. We'll kind of get into that part here probably in a second. That's a little bit later down here. But another thing here is I do SEO, search engine optimization, just not to kind of geek out for the non-geeks here. So whenever you do a Google search or a Brave search or a whatever search, and you type in words, well, that they capture who's searching for what things, what's trending, whatever. I'll be honest, our issue, equal shared parenting, is low. I mean, it's almost non-existent. I mean, it's always, who's in what rock concert, what's going on here, what's going on there. There's not a whole lot of stuff. And I put there that it's abysmal, and it's really bad. So we're not getting, I would say overall, we're not getting out enough. We're in our own bubble talking back and forth, which is good to a degree, but we're not getting out into the public square and getting people to go, oh, hey, I need to do some research on this, or, oh, I didn't realize that, or, what is this issue? I mean, there's a lot of people that think certain things. I mean, it sounds like today we busted the myth of the deadbeat dad. The information is available. Next person's time someone says deadbeat dad, you go, well, wait a second, did you know that it's actually moms that don't pay more often than men, than dads? And getting out there, and each person is incumbent upon them to do those things, because that's the only way this is going to change. It's not going to be any one person or even one group. And this is another big one. After they've been assisted, They disappear like a fart in the breeze. Again, I've been doing this for over a decade. I cannot tell you how many people, and again, we can do the Amber Turd thing. There's so many examples out there, in the media spotlight and just individually. These guys are like, I need help, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as you help them, boom, they're gone. I'm putting a call out there. I mean, it should be down a little bit further in the show, but I'm putting a call out there that every person, when you make yourself a silent promise, because it's not just for you, it's for your kids and everybody else's kids, that when this is all over or gets to a good part where you can actually breathe and sleep more than 2 hours a night, that you're going to help others. You're going to take that. I mean, and putting my money where my mouth is, I've been out of this situation. Y'all's situation for I think it's 2 to 3 years now. I have 100% custody.
Brooks says,
I have child support.
F-O shizzle my nizzle.
What's up, Brooks? What's going on, man? But I've been out of this for like 2 some odd years, and I obviously haven't stopped. I haven't, don't ever. I haven't given up and gone and played video games and go play golf or whatever it is I'm going to end up doing. My heart is for the community, it's for my kids. I mean, if you want to get selfish, it's for my kids. I don't want my kids to go through what I went through. And if that's what's going to help you stay in the fight, do that. And I would say that should be part of when you're talking with someone and trying to help them. And because we want to make disciples of people. We don't want to be, the 5 people. I mean, my inbox is filled all the time. Again,
John says, anyhow, come check me out. Case hashtag J21-35244S1 Clark County, Las Vegas, Nevada. Closed and covered up but not sealed.
Yeah, definitely check that out. But you want to make it to where you're teaching, you're making disciples of other people. Like, you're going to come in, you're going to be green. I was green. A lot of this information didn't even exist when I got. That's why I did a lot of the stuff I did, and then of course made it free, was to teach other people. But once you learn these things and you can start teaching other people, and then as part of your talking with them, you're going to then teach them to, hey, stay in the fight. Once you're done, once you get custody, once the kid ages out, once this happens, don't leave. Be like a Jeff Morgan, who's, essentially out of the system, or a number of the other folks, and fight for issues that aren't necessarily yours. Again, going back to Jeff Morgan, kind of giving him some props. He's fighting for our stuff, and it's not even his problem. So just, something to look at. Other thing is funding. Again, $60 billion a year industry. Me personally, I am never going to ask for a dime, don't want a dime. That's just how it is. Of course, keeps me from doing things, loftier ideas, but that's just the way it is. I don't want to ever be accused of anything, of taking money or whatever nonsense someone can come up with. I want to be able to.
Jimmy says, I was just playing Call of Duty Zombies and died. When I needed you the most, you weren't there for me. I hope you can sleep at night knowing I was bleeding out fake video game blood, and in my last moments I wondered why you abandoned me. Now I'm sitting here naked watching you live on one screen while watching Futanari on the other.
That's an image.
Good luck trying to not Google Futanari, you sick bastards.
Anyway, that's Jimmy Smith of The Big Show, Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central on the Dad Talk Today Network. He and I, we do play zombies. That's our way of kind of releasing all the pent-up nonsense and everything. And this is bro stuff right here. We like to give each other crap. It's just the way it is. All right, back to funding. There are organizations that do, charge for different things. And I would say, support them, where you can. I mean, I would investigate them and make sure they're transparent. That's one of my big issues is I demand transparency for donating my time or money with any organization. Example I can put up here on the board. Eric Carroll, Dad Talk Today, in addition to all the other stuff he does, produced a book here recently, Justice for Dads by Eric Carroll. It's like $15 for paperback. Actually, just to prove that I'm not whatever. Here's my copy. I read it through. It's a one day read. Got some good information in there. And I would say that is something, ways of support. That would be ways to do that. But at the end of the day, the funding, we got peanuts, and we're going up against the David and Goliath story. So hopefully one day somebody is going to come up with some way to keep it all transparent and we don't have any issues and we can get what we need to get things done. It will never be from pissed off parent, just throw it out there, but it is what it is. All right. Let's see here. Let me I'm just going to highlight all this stuff, and you can read on the left side, and I'll talk to that here in a bit. Let's see here. So another reason why we don't have political pitfalls. As I mentioned earlier, our legislators, we don't have a desire to change the system. I mean, again, $60 billion industry, a lot of clout, a lot of power, a lot of all these different things, and that's what we know about. We don't know the stuff that we can't get data on. They've got little desire, and you can go again to the website, and you can
Brooks says,
legislators.
I'm gonna get rich off this movement.
Yeah, I think he got like a nickel or someone bought his coffee one time, so he's actually a millionaire. Yeah, I know when people talk about getting rich off the movement, I kind of laugh, and I'm like, I'm like, I don't know, 10, 15,000 in just in technology and stuff over the decade-ish. Well, no, actually I think it's per year. So yeah, anyway, whole different story. But they got zero desire to change the system. Texas, for example, we've got 20 years of trying to get equal shared parenting. You can see, actually, I've listed them all out. I've got data on it. They go nowhere. They've got zero reason. And you have to think about it also from their perspective. It'd be political suicide for them, or I'm sorry, political self-deletion. Sorry, Facebook and YouTube. To go ahead and do the 50-50 because of all the vows, all the different female groups. To put it bluntly, they're actually a large voter base, and this is it would be a political suicide. I mean, one of my favorite little things I like to talk about is we're facing a Social Security issue that in the year 2035, everyone that receives Social Security is going to get like a 20% reduction across the board. Well, there is a law, rule, whatever in with Social Security that if you've been married for 10 years, your ex-spouse can get half of your Social Security. So if you're supposed to get $3,000, you would still get your $3,000, and she would get $1,500. And with the $1,500 part, that would be if her Social Security retirement would only give her, say, $1,000, she can take the bigger of the two. Well, that was made back in the day, long time ago. And obviously things have changed. Women are working now, they're working more, they're getting higher paid jobs, blah, blah, blah. This is an archaic law that simply needs to go away. No politician will touch that, ever. It would be political self-deletion big time. But that money, I haven't done the deep dive on the numbers, but that would either, at the very least, help the 20% reduction that every Social Security recipient is going to receive in the year 2035 going forward. It would at least help that in some, let's just say it's $10. $10 is $10. But that's what we got. So the other part is that the family law groups, again, you have all the numbers, get all the receipts. Talking about in Texas alone, the president of the Family Law Foundation, the guy gets like $1 million. That's just a checkbox part. There's so much more money. Our judiciary, or I'm sorry, our judiciary definitely, our legislative branch has been infiltrated by family law attorneys. You look at any family group that listens to bills and all that, it's comprised of a number, if not most, family law attorneys, which, oddly enough, in Texas is a direct violation of the rules of actually being able to be on that board. But I digress. Why would they start following the rules now? But they're not going to pass a bill or even see a bill that's going to hurt their practice. And actually, if you go to the Family Law Foundation website, which I have the screenshots on my website, because I think they changed it or took it down, it says family law or equal shared parenting bills that would hurt your practice. Not that would be beneficial for kids or bad for kids, whatever. That would hurt your practice. Again, money. That's just kind of how it goes. Well, I'm going to just, women would stop getting free money, the female vote. As much as they all want to whine about we're equal, we're this, we're that, we're all this other nonsense, at the end of the day, they want free money. That's just what it boils down to. And if this offends any of the lady viewers, tough cookies. If it's not you, great. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the women that enjoy the free money, and we all know who they are. But also, at the end of the day, they vote. That goes back to the political self-deletion part. They know that's just going to happen. John Frank the Third has. Oh, hey, thank you for sharing my stream. Appreciate it. Yeah, get that shared, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff out there on YouTube and Facebook and all that fun stuff, so we can reach more people. But I got. Oh yeah, like the stream too. Thank you. Yeah, like and all that fun stuff. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let me know I'm doing something. All this time and prep work is actually benefiting. I did want to talk. Yeah, real quickly. This is a screenshot of a walk-in. Now this is not our issue. It's another issue, but it should sound very familiar. And this is where I talk into the politics of it and summarizing the summary here. The bold points and changing our issue out for theirs is they have a conservative or even a liberal propose a bill they know is never going to pass because of other reasons, and they sound cool to their constituents. And then mysterious things happen. A mean phone call to the head of the committee, you know who I'm talking about, Texas, or a this, or a, whatever, and it mysteriously doesn't pass. And then that same representative goes, well, I tried, I did my best, and then send me more money, and they just laugh all the way to the bank. And that's just kind of how that works. I'm all for you going the legislative route. I mean, again, we've gotten, I say we.
Sasquatch says, this is Sean Pearson, BTW.
All right, I'll have to hear about what Sasquatch is in relation to Sean. I don't know if that's we need to get you a razor, or is that you're a big guy, or whatever. But thanks for watching and commenting. But talking about the political side of it, I mean, I have on video of me talking to politicians that sat there with they would pass a lie detector, and they were just looking at me shocked to learn about the travesties of this issue. And then a month or two later, whatever, and I've talked to them again, they forgot who I was, and they gave that same, oh, I never knew look. These guys know, I mean, everyone in the judiciary, everyone in the legislative, they all know these things. It's not an education thing. They know it. Now, you need to continue going through the legislative process, not discounting that, but that's not going to be your silver bullet. That's not going to be, I just need to tell legislator so-and-so. And you can go to the website and see quotes and videos and you name it from legislators all across the country that have talked about this, positive and negative. They know. And I just kind of want to get that out there. They just don't want to make change unless they have to. Laws of campaign contribution to judges. In a lot of states, I'll say most, our judges, and I'll speak to Texas here, are elected. And they're not appointed. But what happens is they have to campaign. This is a campaigning thing. And so they, in order to do whatever, they have to get campaign contributions. Well, and if you go to the app website, you can type in a lawyer's name, and you can find out everyone who's ever contributed to their campaign. And you'll notice a lot of esquires and lawyers and law firm of and all that. They're getting all these contributions. I'm going to leave that there because I want you all to, I don't want to bottom feed it all for you here. I want you to think, what does that do? So you've got an attorney that's contributing thousands of dollars to your campaign so you can get elected, and then they come in and you're going to go, I'm going to go by the law. You're going to go, look, Bob gave me, $20,000 that we officially know about, and who knows what else. And I got so many videos exposing these people. It's not even funny. I can kind of talk with some credit here. But they're not going to go, I'm going to go by the law. They're going to go, you know what? They contributed all this money to my campaign, took me on boating trips. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We all know who I'm talking about. And I'm going to, of course, vote their way. I mean, let's be real, But anyway, okay. We've had legislators, actually the guy shares part of my name here in Texas, say, look, it's never going to pass. Because the state's not going to be able to meet the budget. If you look at the Texas budget and how much money comes in and all that fun stuff, it's going to be a huge financial strain, which I understand. But you're hurting kids and you're doing all this stuff for money. Let's just call it what it is. Okay, how to survive the meat grinder. All right, this is where we're going to get a little bit more fun here. I wanted to give some, fatherhood survival tips, some legal pitfalls to avoid, and then the rant hotline. You kind of talked to that, but as far as survival tips, and I'll let the video is available. It runs for 30 seconds, but I want people to understand that when they
Sasquatch says, Dwayne, you have forgotten me already. I shared this podcast to the Unmarried Father and the Dad to Dad pages on Facebook.
Thank you for doing that. But on the father services, I want the dads to know this because this happened me personally. But I want dads to understand that when you go into court and they treat you like crap, they're not doing it. It's not personal to them. It's all about the money and kind of this little thing here, a little video that I made talks to that a little bit more. But for me anyway, it helped once I understood that when the judge laughed at me about something I said about being a good dad or doing raising my sons to have certain morals and stuff like that, and I got laughed at, that it wasn't me. It was they have a they have to put on a charade, a play or whatever in order to get where they want to go, and that's all part of it. So the thing I want to understand is when you go into court, it's not personal. When you walk out there, I don't want you thinking that it is a personal shot against you. They're looking at your wallet is all they're looking at. As far as legal pitfalls to avoid, there's obviously a number of them, but I wanted to bring up again, this is on the website, and again, free of charge and all that stuff. I have a page dedicated, and it's an ever-growing list. But there are things here that are in here that people that have been through the family court grinder, they went, man, if I only knew this, or I hadn't thought about that, or if I would have said this or done this, or I didn't even imagine, when the kids turn 16, who's going to handle the car, who's going to handle passports, who's all this stuff. I created an ever-growing list for people to look at and learn, because your attorney, clue you in here, your attorney's not going to tell you this stuff because you are billable hours to them. They don't care. They're going to forget all this stuff. It's all on purpose. So you need to go in there with your questions, hit them up, say, I want these questions answered. We need to consider this, so you can get in and out of court as quickly as possible, because until things change, going to court is pretty much the only way to make stuff happen. But I will talk to this one a little bit. The list, people ask me, what should I do? My wife just served me, or things are going south. What should I do? And I found this back when I was going through it over a decade ago, and I can't find out who it was. But I did save the screenshot or the information for it, and I made the list. And it's brutal. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is you're gonna have to look at your ex-partner as just bleh. But I tell people, do it, because the people that don't do it, honestly, they don't do too well. But that's one of those things there. I'll talk about recording, and which again, to a lot of people are like, what? I gotta get a recorder? I've got to record everything? I'm gonna have lies? I'm gonna have the silver bullet? I did not know. But anyway, there's a ever-growing list I got in different sections. The settlement guide, a whole bunch of stuff there. Regrets after signing a custody agreement. This is the one where I've got, there's two parts to it, but people that, the regrets. And I said, you know what, this is going to be good. And we've got different authors. It's not just all my ideas. It's different people sending me stuff. But this is going to have different things for you to think about. So when you're getting into negotiations or you're starting to work on the custody agreement, just take a look, because your attorney's not going to tell you these things. And then things I wish you knew before getting divorce custody. And I talked about the car insurance. I didn't think about that. My kids were 7 and 13 at the time. I didn't think about cars and how car insurance was going to work. You need to have that written into the agreement, so when the kid turns 16, you don't go, oh crap, he's going to have a car. He's not legally able to sign for the title of the car. Well, who's going to get it? Well, I could give it to him, but then my ex-spouse is going to be, well, I should get it. And then you have insurance. And do you put a rider in there that doesn't allow that other person to be in the car? Because I'm going to share something with you. That was something that I ended up doing, putting, having that. Well, actually, I prevented my ex-wife from being in the car because she's so money hungry. She would actually have a car accident, and then my name's on the insurance, and then she would sue me. You got to, again, chess, not checkers. You got to think about all this stuff. Anyway, it's an ever-growing list of things, relocation, holidays, special occasions, lives, Uncle Bob passes away 3 years after the custody agreement. Well, it's not your time. She can tell you no. You're not going to dear old Bob's funeral. Tough. Do you want to deal with that in the emergency situation? We got a guy here local in Texas. His son unfortunately, and Dad Talk today did a big expose on it, but his son passed away from a rare form of cancer, and he fought and lost through the family court system, spending time because it was mom's time, and he had to do all kinds of stuff. And the time that he would have had, his son would have passed away at that point. So he had to fight, spend money, time, grief, and all that. Get it all knocked out now. That way, you can move on with your life. Anyway, ideas there, and of course, I got videos. If you're just starting to go through the process, Tarrant County actually has a orientation, and again, this is one of the things I tell people, like, what should I do in court? I tell them, yeah, and again, I in the perfect world, but go research your judge, find out their temperament, find out how they rule. Go sit in court and watch and learn. There's a number of court cases out there on the internet. You can actually watch how it goes, understand the process, and this goes back to learning and getting research and all that. It's not going to be spoon-fed to you, unfortunately. You're going to have to learn this stuff. But anyway, there was a video on the website linked to the orientation thing, so you can get an idea of what you can expect. And again, I'm one of those people that, kind of the fear of the unknown, but if I can understand what's about to happen, then I can prepare for it and plan around it and all that, and I walk in a lot more confident than shooting from the hip. But anyway, there's a bunch of stuff here, got some numbers, and I don't know how old a lot of the people here are, but I recommend everybody for levity and having fun. There's a link here to one of my favorite comics, Sam Kinison, back in '87. Marriage in Hell is a funny one, and that's another thing. I try to bring some comedy into this. It's not all doom and gloom, but yeah, out there. I also have the therapy section, kind of the rant hotline. There's a lot of places out there, and I don't have a whole lot, and I'm sure I'm missing a lot, but there are different phone numbers you can call, links that you can go to. A guy I know, buddy of mine, Dwayne, out in California, he does a, what is it? I'm trying to remember the name of it. Dad Surviving Divorce. And he's got a talk show, or had a talk show, where he talks about the different feelings and all stuff. You can go there. The Dad Talk Today support group is a 100% free support group that's available for people to go in there, ask their questions, celebrate their successes, and kind of have everything in between. And when you're frustrated, and when you put your question there, and I would say, when you write up what you're going to do and get into an application called ChatGPT and click summarize to condense it down, because when you send someone, and I'm speaking from personal experience, you send someone a tome, a book of what's going on and all the raw emotional stuff, you're going to lose 110% of the people. You want to condense that bad boy down to like a minute, or a paragraph or two. But you can go into there, and there's other places that you can go into. And again, the links are available on the site if you want a central location. But you can go in there and air your grievances, or air the issues that you're having, and get help from other like-minded people. And it's a safe spot. So highly recommend that. Okay, gonna go into a little area. Get off your ass. What we need to do now. Again, I have a whole bunch of memes on the Facebook page, and of course the website. This is one, and I probably need to update it with different things. But a lot of it's get off your ass. Again, I've been doing this for about a decade, or over a decade now, and I find so many people, and this goes back to that, once you help someone, they're going like a fart in the breeze. They're like, I don't want to get involved because it might offend somebody, or I'm looked at this. The only way this is going to get out there is if we start shining a light on people and doing stuff. And I want to talk about something that happened here in Texas, just to give you kind of a primer on what we're talking about. But you don't want to be that guy that's either doing nothing, or actually the guy over here that is looking back like, hey, you gonna get this done? No one here, especially me, I don't work for anybody. I'm an army of one. Pissed Off Parents, an army of one, and kind of the way I like it. There are two different memes here, and the one is, and I'm calling out Texas fathers or Texas parents. We had an election a couple years ago. We had Greg Abbott, who's our past and current governor, and a number of other contenders. Now, 3 of those contenders specifically, I have them on video, specifically came out about equal shared parenting and things that they would do when or if elected. And they received pretty well no votes. So that's the whole, getting off your ass, get out there and vote, get involved. The other one, I should probably turn the mute down here. If I turn the audio off, let me do that. There we go. Hey, this is my only mistake there. So let me move that back so we have it. Let's do. Okay, there we go. Pause and a little clown guy. So the last session, this is how serious and how this is what we're dealing with. Is in Texas, and other states had it as well, but I like to talk about Texas. We had 5 retroactive child support bills, which meant that, because again, they can't get enough of that Title 4D money, that child support money. I mean, they're always looking for more.
Steve says,
With this,
please ask your U.S. legislators to fix the Social Security law.
it would be great. So far, no one will touch it. But with the Texas retroactive child support bills, we had 5 of them, a couple of them by attorneys, and they all sounded the exact same way. I know I personally did, I don't know how many podcasts, sending out information, you name it, trying to rally the troops, and you didn't have to go there. It was submit your comments online. It was 5 minutes. I even included the format. I included everything. All I do is push 2 buttons. Push the button, open up your email app, which would then auto-populate it, and push send, and it would have sent and been part of it. One person did it for 5 bills. Now, this is how close we got. It was put forth by 5 Republicans, and by the way, I'm a hardcore conservative, but I'll call the Republicans out whenever they need to, and this is one that they need to be called out on. We had the bills that went forward, and we had one Democrat that used a quick little loophole, and the video's out there as well, that got that bill killed. Otherwise, or self-deleted, or deleted. Otherwise, in Texas, we would be having retroactive child support, which means that from the moment of conception up to 9 months, you are paying child support, and it's retroactive at 6% per annum. That was all. I mean, you should read the bill. It's pretty scary. You're going to pay for the cribs and formula and all other stuff in there as well. And the paternity test is not required. They can name anyone they want. This is what was going through. And I sounded alarmed. We had like we got 27 million people in Texas. One person did it. Now, it really pissed me off. It was kind of, as you can tell, 2 years later or a year later, I'm still kind of griping about it. But one person did it. We've got to get people getting off their ass, getting involved. I will say, kind of another pitch for the app. One of the functions of the app is actually I can do text messaging to both Apple and Android. And I'm hoping that if enough people, which is another issue on the app that was created, if we can get enough people in enough states and enough areas involved, we can start directing through text messaging activities and get organized, like those other organizations that are against a number of things that we're against, the way they're organized. This is a tool that we can use that can hopefully get people organized and do things. Now, again, when you sign up, of course, you can say, no, I don't want anything or whatever. And I'm not going to inundate. I'm not going to be sending, stupid stuff. It's going to be for important, pointed things that are huge. And we'll assume since you have the app, you're wanting to receive that kind of stuff. But anyway, a little more info on that. Let's see here. All right. Learn the laws of your state. God. We got 50 states in the United States. And of course, all the other countries and continents and all other fun stuff. I mean, I know Texas, backward and forward, and know a couple other states and all that, but definitely not an expert. But for your case, you're in Georgia, Nevada, you're in other. Every state has your family court laws codified. I had a guy earlier this week tell me that he doesn't know how to read the state statutes, and he's a professional. He told me what his profession was and everything, and I'm like, come on. I mean, in the real world, I'm a project manager. I mean, I'm not that smart. The laws are pretty straightforward, and we're talking about what's being done. It's pretty straightforward. It's not whatever. You have to get in there, and you have to learn the laws of your state, because as you were taught back in grade school, if you don't learn the laws, they're going to use those against you, whether you know them or not. You need to learn the laws of your state. If you go to Pissed Off Parent, got it by state, you can click the link. It'll have all the resources I've been able to find in my time on your state. That would hopefully will impact you. You can click. I mean, I bottom shelf this. You can go there, click the link, Read all the state laws, read bills, read everything, and learn. You've got to learn this stuff. You can't offload it. And I'm assuming your children and their future is worth it enough to do those things. Get in there, learn the laws, ask questions. Hey, this law said this. That doesn't sound right. It sounds weird. How do you do this? And you're gonna get that going. Go into those support groups and talk about that. I mentioned plenty of free, for God's sakes, free. I'm not asking for a freaking dime from anybody. The app is free. I've spent my own time and money to make this and giving it out to you guys for free. I get zero for any of this. Use it, please. Next thing, it should be obvious. Be a great parent. You got to think chess, not checkers. And use all your available time to the children that you can. And I get it. You're a weekend warrior. You're a Disneyland dad. You're not getting your kids because of the custodial interference. Find creative ways. The lunch bill. Talking to Texas, and I'm sure other states have a similar bill. But go and I get you've got to work to make that time. And then while you have them, be a great parent. Don't have your nose, stuffed in your phone or whatever. Be impactful as you can. I mean, the studies show that you spending time with your kids is going to have a impact on them. Spend that time that you can with them. Another one, and again, pissed off parent show here. Stop the pity parties. That kind of couples with the whole I can't solve everybody's problem. I'm one guy. I'm old. Kind of stupid. There's only so much I can do. But what I'm asking you guys to do is stop pity party. I've had people flooding my inbox all the time, and it's only me. I tell them all these support groups. They don't want that. They want me for some reason. That I'm going to personally fly in on my own dime and represent them in court and do all kinds of other weird crap, which I can't do and won't do because I got a life and I got to keep some sanity here. But you got people like Chuck Dizzle. This guy has had his nuts kicked in. He didn't give up. He got knocked down, got right back up and did it. All those guys, all those pictures, those are guys that got knocked in the nads hard and stood back up. And I've got so many more stories of that. I get it. Life sucks. Everyone's had it in some varying form. Yours is not the worst issue ever. You got to, take a checkup for the neck up, get back in the game. Men, at least the men I'm familiar with, get a setback and they go, how can I make this work? When it happened to me, how can I make this work? Something doesn't sound right. I'm going to start researching. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. All this stuff happened. Not trying to brag, but men don't like to sit in one spot. We're always active. We're always wanting to make that change, make things better, do that. And I'm just saying, get in there. I get you got to cry on your buddy's shoulder. We got support groups for that. We got people for that. Use that because emotions are real. Regardless of what my wife says, they are, or what I say about them. But they're real. I get it. But I kind of talking about Chuck a little bit more. He's a guy that started Family for Eternity. He was in that dark spot. Taking his God-given talents and putting himself into this and continue to work on the family stuff has transformed his life. Jimmy, the Big Show, has talked about this type of stuff. Get back in the gym, get working out, get an accountability partner, do this, do that, figure out how to move that needle forward. Every single day, you should be moving that needle forward. I cannot stress that enough. You're not going backwards. You may get knocked in the nads, but you keep going forward. And I'm hoping that comes across the right way. I want you guys to succeed, every one of you. Getting engaged in your local state government. Let me open up my website again. And I've got a section on here, how to fix the glitch. And let me show that off real quick. How to fix the glitch. And I've got kind of a step-by-step. Now, again, it's not now the nth degree, but I've got ideas, that you can go through and things you can do to move things forward. When I talk about that, actually talking about getting help. Where's the one? Here's the create awareness. You know what? I don't live in Las Vegas, Nevada. You do. Your school or your kid's school may have like a watchdogs program. I think I even mentioned it in here. Yeah, here we go. Every school has a watchdog or other kind of program. Get involved. Get involved in your local area. This is kind of a blueprint. I'm hoping that people can use to kind of get that excitement going. Create flyers. I see guys. There's a guy up in UK. He does flyers. I know Joe Lowry's done stuff. Yeah, at least taking out billboard ads. do different things, get involved in your community, start changing, start moving that needle forward. I mean, and again, you're able to do it. I can't. You're in Las Vegas, Nevada, or California, or Mississippi, or New York, or wherever you're at. You can make that change. And again, there's probably a good chance that there's already an organization that's like-minded in your area. You can kind of step in with them, start, paying attention, participating, and getting that needle forward. I'm also outside of this world, I'm a member of other organizations that have nothing to do with this. And I get my point across and move the needle forward, and I'm talking to legislators and politicians and judges and people that who would never want to talk to me, and moving the needle forward. That, figure out how you can make an impact and go in there and do it. That's, the whole Nike thing. Just go in there and do it. Engaging in the public square. This is another one. Actually, I kicked the wrong thing off. Talking about the app real quick. This is a quick little, some of the things you'll see on the app that you can then work with. Kind of skip through that, but it's got a lot of good information out there. This is a little something. So someone had posted a picture or a meme tag, whatever, and in Texas, that they overtly favor men and fathers in custody and child support disputes, and the HB 3379, which was the equal shared parenting bill, misogyny, performance art. And it was weird. No one responded to it at all. And like, out of all the things on this post, no one responded. And I went ahead and made that video, put it in there, and of course got lovely responses. But I'm like, it shouldn't just be the quote leaders or one person. When I talk about getting engaged in the public square, I'm talking about, on social media, in person, in events. Get out there. Your local, everyone has like a local Facebook community group for your town. Go in there, and when people start talking about stuff, hit them with information, data, facts. Be there to listen, do whatever. When someone says something completely dumb like this, go in there and prove them wrong and make them look dumb if you got to. I mean, I'm pissed off parent. I'm not nice parent. Make them look dumb if you got to. Obviously, this person here, likes to do this stuff. And the thing is, they're not being challenged. So they can say this, and then people start believing it. And again, who's a deadbeat parent, mom or dad? I mean, it's just, it all goes along, in that. Another thing is, be weird in a good way. let me preface that. Be good, or be weird in a good way. Don't be weird. It's going to get you called. Or get the police call on and stuff. Be weird. Try to find new and inventive ways. Share these ideas with other people. If in your community you want to get a judge dethroned or a politician dethroned, work with those people. Find a candidate. Brag a little about Texas here. We just had David Lowe just had his victory party. We had an incumbent here that was not friendly to our causes here in our local government. And I had picked out or found a candidate that was running against this person, and it took 2 tries. It wasn't first. It was close. The first one, number 2 won, and I contributed my time. And again, I'm not the guy that did it. It was other people helping him, funding, all this other stuff. And he had a shoestring budget. This person had like over $1 million in funding from big pharma and all this other stuff behind her. But this guy had the passion, David Lowe. And I did what I could do. I did videos. I would go to things and record stuff and push it out there. And whenever she would come out with her nonsense, I would set the record straight and make her look dumb on her own channel until she blocked me. But that type of stuff. And he won. We've got in the Texas legislature, we've got a rep that is definitely firmly in the equal shared parenting world. Now again, there's a bunch of others we've got to deal with, but we got one. Let's get another one. I mean, there are people in Baroque, whatever, Houston, or other areas of Texas. And again, insert your city here that you can get with, that you can, change. Look at when that next election cycle comes up and find out ways to get your guy or girl in there and make that change. That's how it's done. Putting that time to work in, and no one else is going to do it. It's got to be you. Get plugged in and start working on stuff. Finally, I want to talk about again, when I'm getting involved. this, and I'm not endorsing it, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, like I'm not endorsing them, I'm not going to endorse them, but I'm just saying, here's a group, there's others out there, but these are like large ones that were on my site that I could grab screen caps of and put on there because only so much time I can put into this thing. But these are organizations that are out there that are in the equal shared parenting arena that you can reach out to. I do want to kind of joke with Zach and Sean and oh god, I'm forgetting names here. Oh god, can't remember names. Anyway, Tough. I don't know. Is that your current logo? I know we changed it and changed. I don't know. Anyway, but here are some. There's a bunch out there. Get plugged in. Find out if they're local to your area and get plugged in. And just start getting involved. I mean, you don't need to go to the president or whoever runs the thing and say, "How can I get involved?" But maybe get in one of the chats and start circling it up and getting things going, and get involved is kind of what it boils down to. Getting all that done. But yeah, these are just some there. All right, the whole what's next thing. If you have any questions or concerns or want to chat, this is probably the time. I mean, earlier I had kind of a specific segment, but if you got something you want to chat about while we're here, actually I can't remember. Let me see how long we've been going. We've been going for quite a while, which is awesome. Yeah, almost 2 hours. Wow! Thank you all for everyone that's been hanging in there. Hope I was going to do like a word thing there where you can like type a word in and it pops up there and gets bigger and smaller depending upon how many words. But I'm in addition to kind of like what's next and open up some general chat, I'm curious, like, does everyone like the format? What do you guys want to see? What can Pissed Off Parent and all these organizations do to help out and get Bob and Joe and all of them involved and get them up to speed? I mean, there's lots of training out there. A lot of it's free. I know other people have paid items there. That and again, not knocking their stuff. I just know, again, my whole thing again is I'm making my stuff free, and that's just the way it is. But is there any ideas, any things? I know some of the comments earlier about rallies. I've been doing this for a decade, and everyone talks about rallies. They just, for whatever reason, just don't work. And if I want to say if they do, they kind of don't. I know I think there's something coming up here soon, and I don't want to knock that down, or I'm not trying to do that at all. But I would love to be proven wrong, but we don't get the kind of numbers, and that gets into kind of the whole politician stuff and all that stuff. Your politicians, they obviously don't care. They're not going to listen to you. If you come to them and say, they're worried about getting reelected and keeping their power and all that stuff. And if they see a rally with 10 or 20 people at it, do you think that's going to change their mind? No. If they see a person with, 1,000, 17,000, 10, whatever, people, that are following or whatever, is that going to make them go, you know what? I'm going to give up my chunk of the $60 billion a year industry. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to lose more likely the female vote. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose that for 20 people showing up at a rally or 1,000 Facebook whatevers. No. Would you? No. That's what I was kind of talking about, and I had things popping up there about liking, sharing, subscribing, and all that stuff. And I would say it's for all the organizations, the Toughs out there, the Unmarried Fathers, the Dad Talk Todays, the individually for like Jeff Younger, and then Jeff Morgan and George Saldana. All of them. I can't name names. Dad Equal Custody. There's so many out there. I don't want to miss anybody, but I know I am. Don't take offense. But getting on there and liking it or following it, that increases the subscriber count. So when let's just pretend it's Pissed Off Parent. Let's just pretend it's that. I get an opportunity to talk to the Office of the Attorney General again, or the governor, which actually I've spoke with the governor. The first thing he's going to do is go, who is this guy? I get that a lot for a lot of reasons. And he goes, wow, this guy's got 1 million followers. Holy crap. Okay, that's a threat. If I turn this guy away or smack him on the butt on the way out, this may not
Steve says, what is next? Preseason for next legislation session in Texas has started.
Well, yeah, different people are circling the wagons. There's not, that I'm aware of, a kind of formal direction. I would reach out to the different organizations that are definitely specific to Texas, Americans for Parental Equality, and places like that, and kind of see what can start. I've said in the past, I don't mind spearheading something. I just want to be able to go in there and be able to offer something. Of course, some of it's time and stuff like that. I mean, because you have to be down at the Capitol. There's only a few people that are able to get down there. A lot of it is, I mean, kind of spitfiring some thoughts as far as Texas is concerned. Is getting in touch with your legislator, your rep for your area. You can actually go to the website. You can Google it as well, but I have the link there that you can go in the legislative process, and you can type in your address, find out who your rep is, and then send them an email. The links are all there, and I would recommend ChatGPT, to wordsmith it for you, and then from there to go in and send them a letter and say, hey, thoughts on equal shared parenting. We've got 20 years of bills that have gone through. Blah, blah. Now you have to understand that this is going to go in front of the committee, and the committee is Dave Phelan, last anyway, is the one who puts those people in place. And
Steve says,
a buddy of ours.
Instead of a rally, should we put together an effort to call leg donors of committee members?
That, boy, I hate that whole money thing because that's a whole other deal. But sending donations to the folk, I don't know if we know who is on the board, who will be on those. Actually, I take it back. I have to go check that area out. But I think that the board members have been selected for this go around. So yeah, find out. I mean, at first I'd say at least reach out to them, find out what their past is. Are they favorable to it? I mean, if we have the Niaves of the world or the, I'm trying to think of who they are, the different ones that have been in the past. Are they favorable? Are they giving you, the pat on the butt kind of thing? Does it kind of make sense? Because again, we had, for HB 808, I think was it HB 808 or the one, I can't remember. There was so many. Whatever. I mean, we didn't even get a hearing. We had 200 people down there. Didn't even get a hearing. Never made it out of whatever. And what's funny? Oh yeah, this last time, David Cook, who actually wrote a equal shared parenting bill, who was on the board, didn't even get his bill heard. That's kind of what we're dealing with. We've got to make it to where they have to listen to us. And I think it's just getting numbers and getting from it and getting enough people. Rattling their cages. Actually, and great idea that you're bringing it up now, that we do it now, not 1 week before the election kind of thing. It's a great idea to start talking about it now. I would like to see organization. Again, I guess I'm talking more towards Texas right now, but I would like to see all the organizations come together and figure out a good and I'm a project manager in the real world, so I'm going to call it as a project, but come up, and actually I have a template from the last time I tried it, but come up with a template for what we're going to do and do it, in successive stages to, let all the reps know, so they start asking about it, that they start then talking to the people that are on the board, and then we start applying good pressure to the people that are on the board to start, paying attention to these items, and we get a little bit further along. Now, it sounds like you're in Texas, so I'm assuming you know what happened the last several times. Anytime we got anywhere close, a magical voicemail would show up in the middle of the night, threatening one of the people, and they would then pull the bill and not even want to talk about it anymore. That's kind of the MO at this point. Who knows what they're going to do this time? That is my thing to everybody. Yeah, don't leave messages that are potentially threatening. Now, I don't think we ever saw or heard the actual voicemail. Or one of them we did, and it was nothing of what they were trying to turn it into. Now, again, we've got different things, and there are other things now I'm talking about out loud. We do have other things behind the scenes. I obviously can't go into detail on that, but I would say, as far as, the movement and moving forward, my vote really would be to organize all of the and I'm talking to Texas, you do it for your own, everyone do it for their own state, but to unify under, get a meeting together, and basically put a project plan, which one's already out there, that talks through how we're going to get equal shared parenting passed this next session, and what we're going to do in order to get that to pass, and of course getting the people involved enough to do something. The detractor to that is having been involved in previous committees in the past, like the one I showed up there showing the clown bouncing around on the pre-born bill, the child support upon conception bill. We had
Rhonda
one
says,
person put a comment.
we can email or call a representative at the Capitol.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would definitely email and call. Again, you can Google it or go to my website under the legislative section and it has a link. You can find out who your reps are, get all their contact information, and do that. I encourage. I mean, everyone needs. I'd say it. Everyone needs to be involved in the political process. It's not going to be I don't think the silver bullet we're all thinking is, because we have to change kind of the hearts and minds of everybody, because the legislators, they're going to kind of do what their constituents want. I put rabbit ears around that, but think about it. If a representative or someone that's on the board got a million phone calls from their constituents saying, "Look, you either pass equal shared parenting or you will not be voted in next time," and there's a million people saying that. That rep is going to go, "Huh, maybe I should. Yeah, I'm an equal shared parenting advocate now. Let's do it." Yeah, I would highly encourage everyone. Yeah, and again, everyone's an individual here. You can easily, call and do that. I would hope, a cordial conversation, understanding all the things that we talked about earlier about kind of what their position is. And there may be the rare chance, I call it rare, that they honestly don't know how bad it is. I have a hard time believing it, just based on, again, talking to Texas, how many times we've been there and how many times we've had the conversation, and how many times I've had representatives look me dead in the eye a month after they've received the information, and I know they've read it because I've said it to them, and tell me they have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's it's a good thing. I don't have that trust anymore, but you can try. I mean, I would say every representative here has received the information. I know David Bello, last session. I think it was last session. He spent on his own dime, got a flyer and passed it around with all the good data, passed it around to every representative in the legislature of all of our issues and why equal shared parenting should pass, the arguments against it, that the Family Law Foundation put it up because they were getting concerned. And so everyone got that those documents. And again, it was from David Bello. I think I had a video thanking him for that, if you want to backtrack to it. But I would say, they all have the information. But yeah, definitely, I can't stress enough, email them, get everybody involved that you can. Make this a public square kind of conversation. Whenever you're out and you're talking with someone, bring it up. Everyone knows someone that's been through divorce or child custody or whatever, and if you get educated on the topics, you can then talk with them and hopefully convince them, or at the very least remove all the barriers. And then if they say, so and so, I still believe this, then at least you've done your job. You can't convert them. You can at least give them the information, and then whatever they do with it, it is on them. So, we got that. All right, I'm going to leave it kind of open here for a second. If there's any other comments or questions, and again, like the format, don't like the format. I'm kind of bragging about the text-to-speech thing. That's kind of cool, and all the graphics and all that stuff. The kind of the reimagine. I got some other ideas of cooking, but I can only code for so many hours. I'm not a code monkey. I kind of get burned out in my old age, but I like to code stuff and get things going. But I'm just kind of rambling on just a little bit here to see if there's any other comments. If not, we'll kind of shut her down. And I wanted to thank everybody that joined in. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll let you get the information out there to everybody. And come back. I'm working on having like either a weekly or a bi-weekly show, and it's going to be hopefully my brand of humor as well as informative and edutainment, so everyone can learn something and take that and then talk about it around the water cooler next week with people you work with and stuff like that. And again, also be sure to get out there and support all the other groups that are out there. Some of them I've mentioned, some I haven't. Just Google it and you'll find that. And of course, check out the app, see what's in there. If you have any suggestions, let me know. All that fun stuff. Other than that, it sounds like we're good to go. I want to thank everybody for bearing with me. This was kind of like the 1.5. I did one last week. Well, actually, I talked about my story. So if anybody want to know who is the pissed off parent, how I got to be the pissed off parent, you can watch the show from 2 weeks ago, where I kind of unveiled some of this and kind of learn a little bit more about me if you so desire. But other than that, again, thanks everybody. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. Get out there, learn something, have fun, and just keep moving that needle forward. Y'all have a good one.
Drama.